Pompeii, under the quiet shadow of Vesuvius. No one could imagine that beneath that seemingly harmless mountain, a deadly secret was hidden. Within hours, the ground would shake, the sky would darken, and the entire city would be covered in ash and fire. This video reveals the story of Pompeii, from its daily life to the moment when nature trapped all its inhabitants in eternal silence. Chapter 1: A Living City. On August 24th, 79 AD, Pompeii awoke bathed in golden light. The city seemed to breathe. Marble fountains gurgled with a constant murmur, while the scent of freshly baked bread mingled with salted fish and exotic spices brought from the east. The streets of the Via dell'Abbondanza were full of life. Merchants lifted shutters, arranged fruits and vegetables, and called out to passers-by as carts moved through the crowd. Children played, running and laughing, unaware of the small tremors that had shaken the city the night before. Lucius Cornelius Faustus, a young son of a wine merchant, walked among the crowd with an air of confidence. He observed the forum, where magistrates debated taxes and laws, surrounded by marble temples dedicated to Jupiter, Apollo, and Isis. Lucius dreamed of expanding his family's business and traveling to Rome someday. The future seemed secure, and Pompeii thrived around him. A few meters away, Aelia, a young slave, filled water jugs at the public fountain. Her hands trembled slightly as she listened to rumors about recent tremors, though most people dismissed them. She lifted her gaze toward Mount Vesuvius, green, fertile, covered with vineyards. To everyone, the mountain seemed harmless. Yet there was an uneasy silence in the air, a subtle sense of foreboding that few could perceive. In the amphitheater, Marcus Atticus, a strong Thracian, trained with his sword. Each strike resonated in the air, a reminder that death could come at any moment. The city was alive, bustling with commerce, laughter, and life. But no one suspected that this routine would be cut short forever. Chapter 2: The First Cloud. At midday, a deep roar shook the ground. The citizens stopped, confused. From the slopes of Vesuvius, a column of smoke and ash rose violently into the sky, growing like a giant dark pine, with a straight trunk and branches reaching out like threatening arms. The air filled with a sharp sulfuric smell, stinging throats and eyes. Pliny the Younger would later describe from Misenum, "An extraordinary cloud rose in the shape of a pine, a straight trunk and branches spreading at the top." Panic erupted in Pompeii. Some ran to the temples, kneeling and pleading with the gods. Others fled toward the city gates, mothers clutching their children. Lucius remained frozen in the forum, unable to look away. Aelia dropped her jugs and covered her mouth, choking on the ash in the air. Marcus and his fellow gladiators stood staring at the dark cloud, realizing that no human strength could stop what was coming. Chapter 3: The Falling Ash. At first, light pumice stones fell from the sky like strange snowflakes. Then the rain turned into a storm. The ground was covered in gray dust, and rooftops creaked under the weight of falling debris. Lucius and his family took refuge in their house. They closed doors and windows, piling cushions over themselves to protect against the shards that pierced the roof. His heart pounded as he listened to the relentless pounding above. Aelia advanced through the streets, blinded by ash, her throat burning, searching for her master's young child. Each step was a battle against the thick air and the dust that filled her mouth and eyes. Marcus ran alongside his fellow gladiators toward Stabia, dodging rocks and collapsing roofs. Some fell, others tripped, trapped in the gray darkness consuming the city. Pompeii was disappearing beneath an unrelenting blanket of dust and stones. Fear and despair were visible in everyone's eyes. The city, vibrant and alive only hours before, was now silent, cloaked in deadly gray. Chapter 4. The Collapse. When night fell, Vesuvius unleashed its deadliest force, the pyroclastic flow. Scorching gases, ash, and stones descended at over 60 miles per hour. Herculaneum was the first city to succumb. Hundreds died trapped in warehouses near the sea. In Pompeii, the wave of fire arrived hours later. Those still breathing had no time to escape. Lucius and his family would be found centuries later, hugging each other, cushions over their heads. Aelia managed to reach the city gate with the child in her arms, but both were overtaken by the burning cloud. Marcus froze mid-run, stopped forever. In an instant, Pompeii ceased to exist. Life, laughter, markets, temples, gladiators, all vanished under fire, ash, and silence. Chapter 5. The Eternal Silence. When Vesuvius finally fell silent, the city lay buried under 6 meters of ash and stone. Rome mourned the loss, but soon forgot. Pompeii remained invisible for more than 1,600 years, trapped as if in an eternal dream. In 1748, archaeologists began excavations. Intact streets, brightly colored frescoes, and petrified loaves of bread in ovens emerged. In the 19th century, Giuseppe Fiorelli poured plaster into the voids left by bodies, revealing figures frozen in their final moments. Couples embracing, mothers shielding their children, a chained dog twisted in agony. Pompeii became a time capsule, a mirror of life stopped in a single day. Today, walking through its ruins under the shadow of Vesuvius, we feel the warning still alive. Life can end in an instant, and Pompeii reminds us of the fragility of our existence.
Subscribe for more stories. Let's go for 100 subscribers.